On my second set of the evening last night, I learned two lessons. Let me tell you about the set first of all. It's two long hay fields separated by a tree line that's about 10 yards wide. About 3/4 of the way down there, there's a two-track that allows access to both of the hay fields. The hay field on the north side was all in round bales. The hay field on the south side was about 4 to 5 inches tall. The landowners had told me that there was a gut pile at the far end of the field, so I didn't want to get too close to that. I wanted to call near it. I started off in the daylight with some distress sounds, didn't have any activity. I was sitting facing the north field, the one with the round bales in it, thinking that, they might be in the area to do some mousing off that field. I didn't have anything happen to distress. By the time I finished my distress calls, it was getting dark, enough that I had to use the infrared illuminator on my ATN 4K to be able to see clearly. So once dark hit, I started off with Tony Tebby Pair Starter, which has been working really well for me. Immediately, off the end of the field and a little bit to the south, I got a vocal reply from what sounded like a pair. So at that point, I waited for a little while to see if they would come out into the north field. Up along the tree line is where I would expect them to come out. After nothing showed up, I walked down, cut across that two-track, went to the south side of the field, got set up so I could watch that. I played Food Fight, figuring with gut piles around there, I wanted to make it sound like there's some coyotes fighting over the gut piles. Let that play through, waited a little bit, then played Tony Tebby's Den Doom. Let that play through, then waited, and waited, and waited. Nothing showed up. So I figured, well, just to be on the safe side, I'll go back, go through the two-track, go check out the north field. Left the gun on the tripod and the collar in the south field, walked over, hit the two-track, went over and looked at the north field. There's just a couple of deer out there, nothing else out there in the round bale. So I figured I was probably going to be about done for the night. Went back to the two-track, cut back through the woods, started to come back to where my collar and gun were, and I scanned the field using the ATN OTS monocular, and there was two coyotes probably 75 yards away from the collar coming towards it. So at this point, I'm about 40 yards from my gun. The coyote and the collar is probably about 35 yards out from my gun, and the coyotes were about 75 yards out from there and coming closer. We had just shy of a half moon last night with clear skies, so there was a bit of moonlight. I just walked as quickly and quietly as I could to my gun. Was able to do that without really alerting them. Got to the gun. Once I got on the gun, they did stop. I want to say they were probably 50, 60 yards away at that point by the time I got to the gun. But I was able to make a successful shot on the first one, dropped it in its tracks. The second one ran off and then stopped. I was able to get a good shot on that one. That coyote ended up getting up after a little bit and running into the wood line, and I did not recover that coyote. Check out the video.